The beauty of being wrong is about gauging an understanding of perspectives that may not align directly with yours. The ugly of being right is about projecting your perspective over all perspectives around you, consequently reducing the reality around you to your narcissistic viewpoint. I will no longer be arguing with the latter. I'm only arguing with people that know that their answer is a part of a whole and not the whole enchilada, right? It's your boy Dame. We was on Facebook earlier, had a discussion, and I seen it go left, so I exited stage. You feel me? You feel me? Because I'm no longer arguing in the realm of trying to project my opinion or trying to be right. I'm literally seeking an understanding. And now that I'm doing so, I'll do these videos to help other motherfuckers get an understanding of where it's coming from. So this is what I posted earlier. It's a woman holding up a sign saying, "Why does every woman know another woman that was raped, but no man knows a rapist?" Now, this is a loaded question. A question with many answers. Now, I will say this. Your answer will be indicative of who you are and how you view society. I will say this, your answer will be indicative of who you are and how you view society. What I mean by that is if in your relative reality as a woman and you were someone who was raped, unfortunately, then your answer to this will be obvious. You're going to revert to your experience of what happened. Most of us are going to get answers based on our experience. If you're a male and you haven't uh talked to anybody who was a rape, don't in your reality you think you don't know anybody who was a rapist, that might shape and dictate your opinion to this question, and you're going to come out with a varied answer. For me, all the answers need to be put out there so we can get the whole rather than just the parts of the whole. So we have to understand the relativity in which answers will be given. You feel me? And we have to understand that none of us know entirely. But what we do have is deduction. What we have to have in these discussions and these arguments is deduction. Deduction is the logic based on what the material universe presents to us, not the reasoning in your fucking head, the logic in which the material universe presents to us. So, with deduction, we can adequately come up with a grounded opinion to this, a grounded answer, a sound answer to this question, even though it's multiple answers in my opinion. So let's use grounds and pretenses. Why does every woman know another woman that was raped, but no man knows a rapist? Well, we have to draw historical context in America, founded on colonialism, conquest, genocide, rape, rape, rape of the woman, and not only the woman, rape of the black man. It was European colonialists who established this pretense with their colonization to hold dominance over everything not of them. So if you're not a white male, we show dominance around you in the aspect of colonialism to show you guys who's superior. So with that being said, women were subject to rape the most. Black men were subject to rape as well. Historically, that's not to say that women didn't rape men. That's not to say that women don't rape men today. That has nothing to do with the point at hand. We're going to point out red herrings in a bit. A red herring in an argument is a smokescreen that literally detracts you from the main point. This is the main point in this discussion. We have to come up with our conclusion based on deduction. So in America, in Western society, in a realm that has been founded on rape, has provoked rape, has always favorably chosen the male's perspective over the woman's perspective in the court of law and in the realm of authority, we can deduce certain conclusions and certain answers. So one conclusion would be, okay, well, women know another woman that was raped because they were more often raped. and they can share the experience as woman to woman. And that's gonna provoke the likelihood of them knowing about somebody being a victim of rape. And then we go to the second half of a question: why no man knows a rapist. We can deduce based on the society in which we were in that some men don't even think that their actions are rape. When you talk about this superiority complex, when you talk about raping for dominance, they're objectifying the things around them. So essentially, they're entitled to the woman's body. Essentially, they're entitled to the black man or woman's body when they rape. They own them. So it's not rape in their eyes, it's their God-given right in some rapists' head. Some rapists, I think all rapists, excuse me, but some rapists are more narcissistic, more domineering in their approach. I say some are more so away than other because you have these other racists, again, which will help answer the question, rapists, excuse me, that don't even know. Not because they think that they're superior, but they don't even know because in certain instances, they justify it, make it permissible. Such as, oh, I was kicking it, kissing her, and she was cool, and she just got drunk. So shit, I still did that. What Rick Ross say? Got a drunk off of Molly. She ain't even know it. I enjoyed that whole thing. She ain't even know it. That's rape. So a part of the answer, those are parts of the answer. None of these is the whole answer. I don't have the whole answer. We don't have the whole answer. But with deduction in American society, where we permit rape to women, where we don't target male rapists, the incrimination rate on rapists is very low in comparison to some incriminating rates, as is racial discrimination. If to help people draw the comparison, I have to draw that comparison to the male who might not understand uh their male privilege in this instance. Being in America, you don't understand that you have male privilege. But I have to draw the comparison to race because it's directly analogous because America had racial privilege also. So when you look at this question, why does every woman know another woman that was raped, but no man knows a rapist? Draw the analogy to race. Why does every black person know another black person that was a victim of racism, but no white person knows a racist? Now, of course, no man, when you talk in absolutes, you're gonna uh you're gonna find exclusions to the absolute. Of course, some men know. I know rapists. Like I don't befriend or know, but based on anecdotes in which some people have told me, I've deemed some people, okay, that's a rapist right there. You feel me? But it's never been spoken. A rapist will never openly tell you. Same way a racist will never openly tell you. Starting to see the analogy? Every black person knows another black person that was victim of racism. Because in our society, that's how the infliction has always worked. The same way in our society of rape, it's usually women being raped. Not saying men don't. Not saying white people don't get victim occasionally of a hate crime from a black man because they white. They might be victim of racism sometimes. But those are the anomalies. Those are the exceptions, not the rules. When you have to look at a question like this, you got to remember the rules of the land. So if you know the rules, you can form a deduction that will favor the rules and not the exception. If you don't know the rules, then you might favor the exception. Every black person knows another black person that was a victim of racism because they crying out rape. They just accusing racism. That's why. That's what you might hear from a person who doesn't think racism exists in society. Oh man, they just crying out racism. What you might hear from a person who thinks rape isn't prevalent in society, the women are just crying out rape. Not to say that that's not some of the time. That's a part of the whole too. But to deduce that based on a based but to deduce that as the entirety is to be dismissive of a big piece of the pie that America was founded on rape. You have to mention the fact that rape is a reason why a woman knows another woman being raped. And that male privilege is why a man doesn't know a rapist. So we go to the questions. Most time men rationalize that shit away. I agreed because that is a part of the whole that I can understand and I can see vividly based on my perception. Like I said, none of these answers are right, but all of these answers are reflective of who you are when you put anything. So I agree and I'm reflective of his viewpoint. Most men rationalize that shit away. That's exactly my example of the drunk woman. Somebody rationalizing their actions and probably not even deeming themselves to be a rapist, or just simply uh she wanted it. You might hear that rhetoric. She wanted it, why was she denying it, motherfucker? Or she looks grown. Cause remember, rape has its variation. A lot of the times men might be, or people period might be thinking that it's just slapping up somebody and then inflicting your will on them. You know what I'm saying? Like the movies type shit. But you gotta peep the subtleties. So rape, you got a 14-year-old with a 25-year-old. That's rape. A 25-year-old, oh, she look grown. She look old enough to, that's rapey. And then again, deduction, in America, the male is usually the raper. In society, period, the male is usually the raper. So I can tell you, okay, women do it too, but that's beside the point. That's a smokescreen and that's an anomaly. Okay, so let's go down. Cause we gotta highlight Dank back again. What up, my nigga Dank? It's all love, but this is the beauty of being wrong. So I need you to sit in your wrongness too. Like I said, if my answer ain't right, I'm trying to look at everybody's perspective. But let's see where you may be wrong as well. You feel me? Because mine is a part of a whole, yours is a part of a whole. But is your part of the whole applying deduction in this realm? Because you can make an allegation on anyone and don't call the police to verify that allegation, or do. Now, his answer to the question of why women know women victims of rape and men don't is because you, which is likely a woman, can make an allegation on anyone and not call the police to verify that allegation. So you can just be crying wolf essentially with no proof. So now that is a part of the whole. I'm not saying that's wrong because it's a part of the whole. It's just in Western culture where rape is provocative and white supremacy, male dominance is provocative, blaming the woman for just accusing the man of rape would be the anomaly. It wouldn't be the rule. It would be the exception in a culture in which you've known has raped. So, though that may be applicable on the pie chart, it'll be a small ass piece of the pie in which we're gonna say, yeah, women know that women got raped because some women accuse men wrongly of rape, and some men are actually not rapists when they're accused. Yes, I would agree. That would be a part of the whole. But that would be a small ass part in a society that has uh that we've knowingly known has raped. So, and then we go down a rabbit hole because you got people at odds with his opinion and his perspective. Thing is, I'm all for understanding. I'm not for telling people they're right or wrong no more. So, what does that have to do with anything? I would say it has something to do with it, but it's a small portion. Dink says everything. No, it's not everything to do with the question. It's a small piece. You're not factoring the man when they actually rape women. And that's why some women know about woman rapes. Because men rape women in society, in Western society. You're not factoring in men being oblivious like Rick Ross says, talking about putting a molly in her drink and she didn't even know it. So you're dismissing the fact that some of these niggas are raping and it's not being documented, it's not being known to where the woman can only go back to her close friends and tell it. And now you bring up anecdotes. To me, these are I don't want to say faulty analogies. These are you're picking the outliers in the situation and you're not gauging the general the general census or consensus of this situation. When you talk about Tupac, Mike Tyson, Bill Cosby, and Kobe Bryant, these are celebrity rich black men. Now, you know, in our society, racism exists. You know, celebrity black men are objects of ridicule in this system. So to point these out in an instance of rape is to be pointing out the outlier, the exception again, and not the rule. With rape culture, this happens amongst regular citizens for the most part. The percentage of celebrities ain't even gonna touch 1%. You naming all celebrities, you're pointing out the outliers in which you have to factor in different variables. Like, nigga, these are strong black men getting accused. That happens too. So now your point on the pie chart would be more valid if we was talking about celebrity black men, Dink. But we not marginalizing it to that. We talking about rape, period, in America. She said, "You're one of those men I see. Every man is one of those men." No, every man is not one of those men. Don't do that. That's just false. False. Fake news. Every man is not going to automatically jump to the guy's side and say, "What did she do?" Or what happened? She was wearing, if you butt ass naked in the street, you don't deserve to get raped. If you got on a short dress, uh, you're not provoking rape to the righteous. You're provoking rape to the rapists. So I'm not finna blame anybody provoking rape to a rapist because it shouldn't be no rapists out there. So it's the raper's fault. Ain't no she should have wore, nigga. What? Dink, I'm sorry you giving off those vibes of she shouldn't have wore no short skirt type shit. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't dismiss the fact that the nigga took advantage of that and saw her as just a body and went predator mode. How do we know what man is a rapist versus the women who make allegations at their we don't. To be honest, that's why I said your truth was a part of the whole. Some of them just making false allegations. But in a society of rape in Western culture, that's a small part. The likelihood of women telling people that they got raped and being raped, you're saying that more often than not they're lying. Same way, let's go back. Same way, when black people talk about racism, why does every black person know another black person that was victim of racism, but no white person knows a racist? Because again, they dismiss it away. It's not valid. It's not true. They're just crying wolf. That's exactly what you're doing when you're talking about the woman in this instance, Deke. They're just crying wolf most of the time. That's the first thing you brought up was them accusations possibly not being valid, which is a part of the whole still. But if that's the first thing you brought up, that's the lens in which you see things, which to me is coming from a place of male privilege, and which I got too. I probably used to see shit like this. I mean, not no more though. Sure. No, every man is not one of those men. I seen that shit again. Who verified they know, and why isn't that man in jail where he belongs? In a society that provokes rape and racism, it's going to be harder to incriminate based on rape and racism. In a society that promotes rape and racism, it's going to be harder to incriminate rape and racism. Racial discrimination cases are the lowest one. Rape rape cases are often uh are one at a low rate as well, not as much as racial discriminations. And the believability of the male in court, the believability of the male in America, the believability of a male period in society has always superseded a woman's opinion. White male in particular, woman and black. So if you want proof, your proof is going to be reduced to the FBI, to these institutions founded by white folks who have who have suppressed the actual statistics, or already are in favor of the white male who is the most likely candidate to do the raping. So it's not going to be easy to prove it in a society that provokes it. You can't argue the truth. Come on, man. This truth is 2 + 2 = 4. Truth is rape happened in a colonialist society. So let's stick with truth. And then male culture either suppresses. I assume is okay. My point. What's my point? My point, which is not right or wrong, male culture either suppresses or blatantly denies the reality of rape in society. If you talk to women, you know more got molested or raped than you'd imagine. But society has always given male privileges to these instances in court, hence preventing some to even speak up, not to mention the sake of embarrassment, as that's something nobody wants to confess to a stranger. You have one valid point, one good point that not all accusations are valid. I agree. I agree with him right there. But you overlook the truth. And that could be stretched. It's not definitively the truth, but the truth of the realm, which is male culture. In male culture, we subtly ignore or accept rapey gestures. My evidence would be the Rick Ross or the white male in history, nigga. Saying about defending men or women at all costs is about establishing perspective from all angles. I suggest you meet more women, and that's a joke. You feel me? But on second thought, maybe you should. That's another joke. You feel me? So again, I'm stating my point of the topic. My point. I'm not saying I'm wrong. This is just my understanding of what's going on. Have you studied the rates males are molested? This is a smokescreen. This is here to distract me from the main point. And this is why I don't argue with niggas. This is where I stopped right here. In argumentation, you can't throw smoke screens. You can't detract the reader. Red herring, let's look it up. A red herring is a fallacy, fallacious bullshit that distracts from the original topic. Someone may refer to this type of argument as a smokescreen. So it's like saying, oh man, systemic and institutional racism exists in society. Then a nigga saying, what about black on black crime? That ain't got nothing to do with systemic and institutional racism in regards to deflecting the severity. You feel me? If anything, black on black crime is motherfucking one of the products of systemic racism. So and then down the rabbit hole again. Once you throw a smoke screen or red herring, I'm out. You feel me? Because you're detracting, and again, you're using this. It subtly implies your position, which is okay. Why are you defending males right here when the topic is about women being raped and men not knowing rapists? Women knowing rape victims and men. Why are you defending the males who are molested right now? Which I'm not saying we're against all rapists, women, men, short, small. But the fact that you're using a red herring again to emphasize that males get raped too, it's just like when a white man says, "Oh man, white people experience racism too." Maybe they do at a small amount, but that's again beside the larger point, nigga. That women have been victims of rape since the beginning of colonialist times, and even before that in other regions. That black people have been discriminated against since the beginning of colonialist times. And when you have these instances, these questions like this, based on deduction in a society that was predicated on that, the first thing you shouldn't do, in my opinion, I could be wrong, is blame the outliers. Oh man, that woman is just accusing the man, wrongly accusing. That's what they do. Or no, that black man is just crying racism. That's what they all do. Ain't no real racism happening. Ain't no real rape happening. You being dismissive of the 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 woman's voice. They're telling you. You saying they lying. Come on, Dink, holla at me. It's your boy Dane, man. I'm no longer going back and forth with you niggas on these posts. I try to tell you niggas, man. But this is the second time, Dink, you feel me? You must be special to me. Yeah, you must be special in my life, you feel me? Some sort of enigma to challenge the way I think. I respect you, but you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you be all over the place with red herrings and faulty examples and shit. So I gotta let you know. Let me know y'all thoughts in y'all comments, man. I'm about to post this up in Facebook. Get some laughs out of it. But at the end of the day, again, what I put when you draw the comparison of male privilege and white privilege, they are nearly the same. That's all I really put, just to emphasize my relative truth. I think in a society of white male dominance, black voice is gonna be suppressed and women's voice is gonna be suppressed. Then you gonna have males trying to argue down women's voice. Then you gonna have white people trying to argue down black people's voice. I think Dink, without knowing, he's subtly trying to argue down woman's voice with his male privilege. But that's just my thoughts. It's your boy Dan.